Good morning, winners, and welcome to another episode of the Wrong Button podcast, where we talk all things video games and get a lot of opinions on a lot of different subjects on video games. And speaking of opinions, we're going to talk about something that's very controversial, which is lady character designs in video games. Um, and I am fortunate enough to have two people that will call me on my shit, as well as still love me when I say a stupid comment. So I am joined by my lovely wife, Mrs. Play,
Hello, everyone.
and of course our faithful artist and fan and all around great friend, Elizabeth.
Hi.
So thank you guys so much for joining me on this muggy Saturday noon time frame
In the mid-Atlantic.
in the mid-Atlantic.
I don't know about you guys, but it feels good up here.
That's good.
I'm glad to hear that. It is a little bit colder here, but I wanted to talk to you guys about lady characters in video games and lady character designs. To give the winners a little bit of a backstory about how this came about, I was talking about lady character designs and how great they were and how much better they were. And Mrs. Play, ever as loving and supportive as she always is, looks at me and goes, "Yes, because the bar is so low."
Like, congrats on not tripping over it. You picked up your feet this time. So proud.
Ouch.
Yep. So, like I said, I'm very appreciative to have two strong, independent women on here who love me, and even when I say something stupid or maybe just a little misinformed, are willing to call me on it, but still be like, "It's okay. We can fix this."
Agreed.
So I had some questions to you guys about this. I know Mrs. Play is once again expressed some apprehension on going into this, which is fine, I guess. And not because she just want to be like overwhelmed with negative emotions. However, she does have character designs that she likes, and of course we're going to touch on those because how could we not? Now all of us have been exposed to the game that we all love and the character that we all think is amazing.
Are you talking about who I think you're talking about?
Yes, we are. And now that you're in on it, we can all really kind of go. Yes.
Yes.
So let's talk about this. We'll start with you, Liz, because you're going to have a little bit more. Right? I swear. Jump. Liz, you've played games a little bit more than. I swear to God, don't get cats. So Liz, you've played a few more games than Nicole has. Nicole, we're gonna go on you second. We'll get Liz first here. But do you have any female character designs that you're like, you know what? I always like seeing this character.
Ooh. Well, I think we're gonna have to go with who we were hinting at, which was Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. Just the character design from Guerrilla Games is fantastic. I love playing her. I love playing as her, and even my fiance, he also agrees. Like I kind of wondered how he'd feel playing a woman because in most games that we play, he plays a male character.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I guess is kind of more natural for him. But like when I introduced, when I said, "Hey, we need to play this game," he was totally cool with it. He's just like, "I like being this female. She's awesome. She's like." She's who I would be if I was a female, just kind of like, I was just like, that's awesome. Like I was kind of wondering how that'd be,
Flacked 6-pack abs, able to pull myself. Yeah, I would be her too.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do that as a male half the
I can
time.
do pull-ups all day.
He's just like, he's like, she's awesome. Why wouldn't I want to be her? And I'm like, that is the right answer. It's like, I love you.
I mean, aside from being shunned in the beginning of the game, like I could understand not wanting to be her there, but yeah, the rest of it.
He's an introvert, so he wants to be shunned anyway.
Fair enough. Mrs. Play, what about you? Because we've now played some games with female characters, and you've also seen me play some other games that have some pretty badass, I'm gonna say, female characters in them. Do you have one that you're like, yes, I like seeing this? If you choose Aloy again, that's fine.
I mean, I'm going to. Like,
Okay.
I liked her first. No,
you're not gonna go with Amaterasu? Like, she is top tier.
I mean, no, because with Aloy, she feels like a fully fleshed out, complex human,
Mm-hmm.
and the her physique is not hypersexualized.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know hypersexualization has been on the decline, but and she is pretty, but she doesn't have to like. She never flirts. She never like leans into that. Like, yes, she is a woman, but it's just like she is an amazing character who you want to play as that just happens to be a woman, as opposed to like, oh my god, she's so hot in her 3-inch heels and that push-up bra, pull-ups all day. I'm looking at you, Laura Croft, throwing shade. Um, and so yeah, she's my favorite, and I really like her story, coming of age, and like leaning into like the her own narrative and still carving her own path and like saving her world. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
And it's kind of funny that you throw the shade at Lara Croft. I did send
So
you the
soon.
I so what we did before this was I picked up a couple. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I just had a Diet Coke. That's not professional. I picked up a couple and sent you guys a Google Doc with links to different female characters that are out there, because I started playing a game called Rogue Company, and that my favorite character to play as is this really awesome female character. Like I've already like dubbed her as Bay because she is amazing and I enjoy playing as her and I love her design. But I also sent you guys Lara Croft. I did old Lara Croft and new Lara Croft. Mrs. Play, I know that you and I have talked about it. I'll probably go over it for the winners or people who aren't familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Liz, have you ever heard of the origins of how Lara Croft's character came to be designed?
Actually, I don't.
Awesome. So, Tomb Raider. A lot of people liked platforming games back in the day, especially on computer. A bunch of guys were uh, creating a game, and they wanted to create their ideal woman. And
Right?
what they did was they did.
Sorry for scoffing.
No,
You're
don't.
fine.
Don't.
You're.
The
I.
fact that you only made an inaudible,
I
like
know I
a
picked up. I heard you can
nonverbal.
see the. You can see that. So what they did was they built her. She's the brunette. She runs around. She's got dual wielding pistols, kind of the cowboy esque thing. She wears platform boots. The halt is that called a halter top, Mrs. Play? The
Yeah.
blue tank.
Yeah.
Okay. Midriff cutoff. Sometimes it has like a sweatshirt tied around it. Sometimes it doesn't. And she's got the long flowing ponytail, so that way, as well as she is rather busty.
Yeah. Very
Um,
busty.
She
there
has
are
back pain.
Seriously.
there are two things about that entire character design that I can never understand. One is how does she keep this sweatshirt on? Because I tie a sweatshirt and all I do is walk around and it falls. That always bothers me. And then how is she like hugging the wall that close when she is that busty? So that is from the 80s or so, I believe, maybe like early 90s when they did that. Now, Mrs. Play, you and I have played Rise of the Tomb Raider. Liz, have you seen the new design of Lara Croft?
Yes, I have. I saw it at an expo,
Mhm.
like when they were doing a whole bunch of uh, just like showcasing different video games that are coming out soon. I did see that one. I was like, oh my god, like that looks awesome. She's still pretty busty, and like her
Is she?
arms are still like really thin. Like I feel like
She is thin but fit. Like, she does Pilates.
yeah, it's very very aerobic kind of stuff. Like she wouldn't be pulling herself like up a wall like Aloy.
No, she does not have Aloy's biceps.
She does not.
Okay,
Um,
I guess because I guess I was like, is she that busty? Maybe she still. I'm also
Her
looking at it from a
She
the
looks proportionate. Like,
okay.
whereas the previous Laura Croft looked like she was like rocking a corset. I'm like, out of the 7+ billion people on the planet, if we acknowledge that half of them are women, so of the 3.5 billion-ish women on the planet, less than 100,000 will have proportions like that.
Okay.
Sure, it's the ideal woman, but that girl can't breathe. Her boobs are
I
gonna be
mean,
hitting her in the face when she runs.
Yeah, exactly.
oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh, this
I
is
said
so
what I
great.
said.
Nope, it's
This is why I love you people.
and this is why I'm really happy to do this one kind of free flow ad lib style where we string together a bunch of nerds and words and adjectives.
Mhm.
Um,
Like, also too, when you look at her new design, like, she's still pretty busty. That girl needs a sports bra because running without a bra, which I'm assuming she's not wearing, um,
She
hurts like
probably is.
hell. So,
Yeah,
like,
she's just running and climbing, and like she is pretty, and her body is more proportionate. Like her torso
yeah,
is not nearly as pulled in. Um, she's not just like boobs and ass and a skinny little waist. So I appreciate that, and her
I do too, yeah. I
like
again, like, the bar is so low. Like, you raise it up a
yeah.
tiny bit, so you kinda have to walk over it, but actually and too, like, the platform, like, the boots that she's wearing with the heel is actually kind of legitimate. It helps you, like, when you're walking down, like, uneven ground and stuff like that. They have it in hiking boots and stuff like that too, so, if they are rubber heels, then actually kinda helps her grip on stairs and stuff like that,
Hmm.
so that is
Hmm.
legit.
Yeah, like her this design style, this outfit reflects function
Yes.
with, of course, the ideal, like, no, I shouldn't say ideal form, but it is a more like pleasing to the eye form. But
Right.
she's not nearly as absurd as original Lara Croft, who I'm now gonna like close that window because it really makes me mad to look at.
okay. Actually, if you guys go back to Zencaster, by the way, fantastic. Anyone wants to do a podcast, fantastic threshold thing.
Hmm.
I did put a link in there. Mrs. Play, Liz, you
Oh,
probably
so you
watched the
did.
Let's Play of it. I threw in a link from Uncharted: The Lost Legacy,
Yeah.
which featured Nadine and Chloe. Nadine being the new character, Chloe being the older, I mean, not older, but the
More
original
seasoned.
love interest of Nathan Drake in the second game. And in this game, they give them both like their own story, and I absolutely loved it. Um, I want to know because what about this? Because I feel like both Chloe and Nadine are one gorgeous character designs. They kind of feel um, they feel very proportionate. They feel also much more realistic maybe than Lara Croft did. Because like if you look at Nadine, she's got some guns on her,
Hmm.
like not just the gun she carries in the game, but she like legitimately she's got some.
Yeah,
Her
can
arms
also do
have some.
pull-ups. Got it.
Yeah. So I was wondering, what about that as like a character design for you? Is that when someone tries to create a female character, does that make it better because it's more proportionate based off of what they do in the game and what they're showing they're capable of?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First, I am pleased that we are incorporating uh, non-white people, so the beautiful people of color that exist in this world and deserve equal representation. Um, equitable and equal representation. Those are different things. I'm not going to get on my soapbox on that particular issue. Their attire represents their functions, like in video games and comic books, like the way that you look, your identity is communicated through the narrative and through visual designs. So these two look practical. They look scrappy, like they're sensible t-shirts. And some of the other photos, it's like, oh look, these are jeans. We're here clearly here for running. My hair is back in a ponytail. It's sensible. I'm not trying to like maintain my Victoria's Secret blowout look. Um, like they're here to do a job. They both look competent and capable. Um, and even as we like played through the game, both of them were like, one's just there to do a job and to do the job well because pride in her work and her abilities, and the other one's like, I gotta right some wrongs. Um, gotta rewrite the past a little, set the record straight. So some again, like something else to prove, but it wasn't. oh, I need a man, or it didn't feel one dimensional. It felt like, again, if you swapped the gender, even though we've seen it 1,000 times, like it would still work. And that's what I look for. Like if it's a character that I like, I need complexity and I need to be like, oh, I like them and it just so happens that they're female. Um as opposed to like, oh, I like them and they're super hot. I mean, before I go any further off on my tangent, Liz, do you have thoughts? Because I could keep going.
No,
What are
no,
your thoughts?
I agree wholeheartedly. I like what you said about how it's like these ladies are here with a purpose, you know, like they're not just here for eye candy. Like this is their part of their story. This is what their role is, and you can tell that based on like what they're wearing, what they're doing, and which is very true for like any character. Like if you know if you see a guy who's like you know like kind of like with the bounty hunter look, it's like oh well you're a bounty hunter, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I like the mystery of it. Like when you approach people, it's like, okay, so you're this person. So you're clearly an assassin. It's like, but who are you assassinating? What are you doing? You know, I like figuring that stuff out first. I don't like them shoving sexuality like in my face.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like we're not really here for that. We're here to play a game. But then I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
many male players are just like, that's what you're here for. That's not what you're here for.
Yeah, if
And
you want me to be interested in this character, they also have to look pretty.
Yeah.
Or
and
yeah.
we
And go ahead,
go ahead.
Chris.
There are some comments that can be made on that. Just showing from like friends that I've had. I've played a little bit of WoW. I've played other games like where you get to create a character. I do know um, men or especially guys who create a female character because when you play a third person game, you are typically only staring at the back of a character.
Oh
And
god.
they're like, I'd rather stare at a woman's ass than a man's ass running around all day. Especially when they like get like the forward run going. So that you're right, you are here for a game, but I have seen that as an argument of this is why I play as this character. If we're going from a competitive scene, um, Halo, a lot of people pick the female Spartan build when they're playing Halo competitively for creating a character. Like they're in power armor, so there is no sexualization. Like they give her some hips and they narrow her like waist a little bit, and other than that, you're like, there's not much of a difference. But the hitbox is actually smaller. So when you're doing
Huh.
competitive shooting, I know a lot of them will pick a female character because it's harder to hit her and it's not as forgiving. Where a male character, it's like, okay, you technically grazed his shoulder, but it's going to count it as a hit. Um, and a female character, that is all tucked closer to the body. Um, so that is side stories. Back to what you guys were saying, though. Just want to give that light.
That's interesting though. The hitbox thing. That's really interesting.
It's tactical.
Mm-hmm.
Like I picked her not just because I want to stare at her butt. That's what I heard.
But that is what it is for like World of Warcraft. I've seen some people play other games where they do that and they create a character and they're like, I don't want to sit here and stare at the back of a guy. I'd rather stare at the back of a female.
I mean,
Um,
Actually,
go ahead.
well, I've actually encountered that before. So I run a group on Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. I lead a party, and there was a party member once who I knew for a fact was a guy, like he him pronouns. Uh, and then like I remembered like, but his avatar would always be a female, a really cute female. And I was just like, I was a little curious. I was like, so how can we always play like a girl? You know, like he's just like, well, I'm playing this character, and I'd rather look at something cute all day when I'm playing this versus like just you know a guy in fantasy clothes. And I was like, all right.
Meh.
um, yeah, and that's just those things that like it does come to preference. We're going to go into character design a little bit later, but I actually want to touch on something that you guys talked about earlier, where it's uh, she happens to be a female, and I believe I'm sorry, I can't remember if it was Liz or Mrs. Play. You said this would be functional even if it was a male character.
No, that was Nicole.
That was
That
me.
was Nicole. Thank you very much. So that'll bring me on to one of my next subjects I want to touch on. If you guys go down to the bottom of the document, nope. Hold on, maybe it's
Monster Hunter
middle.
World.
Not Monster Hunter World. I actually want to look at Assassin's Creed. I think it's
Which
on
is
here.
the bottom of the first page.
Yes.
Tracking.
So
Oh, the Valhalla.
yes. Um, This is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is the new one coming out.
Yeah,
Holy
she looks
shit.
scary as shit. I love
Oh
her.
my god, I'd run away
Doesn't
from her in a heartbeat.
yeah, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's hot. I'm here for it.
Um,
Like, I have my own like qualms with the like, you have to like take over this. So you're like, you have to like get resources. I'm like, you're an invader. There's no way around it.
you're a Viking. I don't really know how they're going to tie it into the Assassin's Creed lore and mythos. My question here was, are do you think it detracts from the game because you can play as the same character? Both these characters are the exact same character. One is male, one is female.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Do
I
you
like
think it
that.
really?
Yeah.
You don't. Why do you love that?
I think it's just like I'm not quite sure, but I like the fact that people like well it oh okay. It also depends on how the in-game characters react to you. If they treat you the
Mhm.
exact same way, whether you're the male character or the female character, I think that's awesome because that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if they have different scripts per se, like if they avoid pronouns and which they easily can, um, then like that's one thing. But like if they have to change the pronouns and then how they look at you, how they talk at you, how they act around you, that's where I would get annoyed. Because I'd be like, you wouldn't treat a man any differently, kind of thing.
Uh,
Well, if it was something like, say, you played as a female character, and because we're gonna go back in the day, you're Viking, so we're talking pre or just before like the Norman conquest of England, giving us most of our language today. The If it would have been like, hey, when they came up, because a lot of games, I'm gonna go the Halo franchises. Whenever they run into Master Chief, they always go like, "Huh, I thought you'd be taller." The man stands at like 7'4", um, and that's always the running joke. If it was one of those things though, where it's like, okay, you're doing all these feats as a female character, and then let's say you run into like a duke or a king, squire, knight, I don't care, and they go, "Wait, you're a female," and
tis a
you
woman.
That
and
would annoy me.
like if they kind of like scoffed at you and then you beat their ass, like I personally, like from the time period, I'm like, okay, that makes sense that you would be treated this way, because it's like, oh, you're a female, and now I'm like embarrassed that all my men are getting beaten by a female because of the time period. And then two, I think it would give you like credence of how fearsome she actually is, where it's kind of the like, no man can defeat me, I'm a woman, stab you in the face. uh
See what you
and
did there.
Thank you. But I didn't know if you would find it lazy, because personally, I'm like, why can't, like, why do I have to have the choice of both? Why couldn't I be this awesome female character?
The choice of
And
both is just so that who makes this? Ubisoft, is that what we said?
this is Ubisoft, yeah.
Yeah, it's so that everyone can like get off their nutsack about how come all of your games, with the exception of the Syndicate one, I got that right, the Victorian era
Oh
one,
God, yeah.
um like now you can play both, because like historically it's all been
Men.
male character leads, and at
It's
least in Syndicate you could like toggle back and forth um between the two siblings, but they both still felt like their own like independent character. Everyone had they both had like slightly different abilities. um One was a little bit more stealth, and the other one's like, I'm going to kick down the door like I saw in Call of Duty. um
rub it
I
in.
love you. I did.
I know.
um and at least with this one, I mean, based on when you and I were watching the announcement, it looks like you can toggle back and forth as a man or woman throughout the game.
They were just showing different scene. Like, if you choose the female, you're the female for the game. If you choose the male, they were just showing you like different cutscenes from different angles using both
Okay.
character models.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with like Kay getting scoffed at as a woman, because that doesn't happen in real life to me ever. Um but and it would have been more like historically representative, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. Um Maybe from a cultural standpoint, she would be treated more equal, because no, I am the leader,
Mhm.
and you'd have to respect, but that's not necessarily true. The female,
You would be required to respect, not that, not
yeah,
you,
you'd
not
be
if you
respecting
want.
the office, so to
Yes,
speak. The rank, not the individual.
exactly.
Yeah, but like I'm sure there would still be some level of snickering, whether or not occurs like live versus behind closed doors, separate cutscene if they show it. Remains to be seen. But like you will respect the rank of not the individual,
Yeah.
and that'll be curious to see.
Because
Well,
go ahead.
well, I just like this is one thing that like a lot of guys just don't seem to think about, and that is facing that and having that shown in your face is exhausting. If you have a badass female character, she's constantly made fun of. And it's exhausting because that's exactly how it is in the real world. And like it's like I came here to fantasize about what it would be like to have a woman who's strong and independent and not be made fun of or have to prove herself because it's so exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder
like
what. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, well, like you're just like, well, in the like in back in that time period, da da da. This is how she'd be treated. It's like, yeah, we know. Trust me, we know.
Hasn't
But
changed that much, guys.
but it would be nice to for like a little bit of time to pretend like it wouldn't have to be that way. And I think that's what video games can offer. That's what all franchises, of like of media can offer, people. Like that's what I loved about Horizon Zero Dawn. Like when you start playing as a Nora, it's like, oh god, she's a woman. Here we go. It's like, oh, she has to do the proving. It's like, oh, but it's not just her. There's like everybody's here. Like there are men
Mhm.
and women here, and stuff like that. And like nobody's gone to her because she was a woman. It was just because she was an outcast. So like it was a bit different. But then when you meet the Karja, it's it's a bit different. They're just like, women. It's like, fuck, we can't leave.
No.
We can't get out of this. Sorry, are we allowed to swear?
You're fine. You're
I
fine
actually
to swear.
really, I actually really like what you just said about wouldn't it be great if,
Well, see, I
if we were treated equal. But like art, this particular form of media, art in general, but like specific to like video games, comic books. I know we haven't touched on that, but like even comic books, like it imitates like that art will imitate the prevailing norms of the society that constructed it.
yes.
And so while we fight for equal rights, that ain't there yet. We aren't there yet. Um, and so I'm not surprised, disappointed, but ultimately not surprised. Not even that disappointed. It's like, yeah, shrug. But women make up a not insignificant portion of the video game industry, like consuming population. Women like fantasy as well, and it would be really great if you addressed my interests and needs as well.
No, I was actually going to ask you about that, Liz. You guys can go ahead and disregard that for the next 30 seconds here. Where it when it comes to having to deal with that, because you're right, you do get it thrown in your face. I know Mrs. Play. I have watched it happen to her, like just being present to when she's dealing with something. Now, when it comes to that, because I see what you're uh, I see what you're saying there, and I know like as the Nora, it was
It was a
it was
matriarch.
It was a matriarchy.
it was a matriarch. Thank you. And then it came to um, when you went to the Karja. That's where you kind of got the one guy who uses the hammer, who kind of flirts with you a little bit, and um,
Dimwit.
Erland!
Dimwit.
um,
I like him.
Yeah, in a cutesy dorky, don't actually talk to me. You're not dating my daughter kind of way.
Yeah.
and I wasn't sure how you, because that one it felt like it was another culture, where they're like women, and then you kind of get to go through with oh god, what's her name? Tarja, not Tarja. Um, Hang on one second.
Talk about the Sunhawk?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
like
Oh, Talana.
Targila. or something.
Oh, you've gotten pretty far in the game, and I'm so excited for you.
Oh yeah, we're almost done with it actually.
Ah,
We've met that guy who like gets in our focus or whatever. Like
yeah.
yeah, we met him. God, that guy's a
Silence.
jerk.
He
Mhm.
plays such good characters, though. I'm so sad that he's a bad guy,
Have you
but I get why he's a
seen
bad guy.
Have you seen John Wick? Any of the John Wicks?
No, but I know what they're about.
Okay, there is the hotel concierge
Mhm.
who like this beautiful black man who's just like so poised all the time. That's the voice actor.
Oh my god.
He's
Did
so
you
good and like he's a consummate professional, but he has like a wit.
Hmm.
Like John Wick comes in and is just like, I need my suit dry cleaned, and it's all like torn and like bloody. And he's like, do you think we can get this to a dry cleaner? And the concierge like, sir, no one's that good. And John
had
looks like, yeah, well, you're right. But all that to say, that's the voice actor. Very, very good.
and then if you want to like hear a range of voice, did you watch the new season of Castlevania?
Nope.
Nope.
You should. It's really good.
He's the pirate captain that you get to meet. Um, but to go into that, and I see that as something there where it's like not wanting that to be thrown in your face. And when you say that, I'm like, yeah, you guys can just quest for a dragon like the rest of us. Like there should be like if you're gonna do a proving, and I see where you said that like the proving was there were multiple females in the proving, correct?
Yeah, but not only that, but there were guys and girls in the proving. Like
Yeah,
And they
that's
had the same test.
and they had the same exact test. That's what I loved. See, like I'm not so much for like feminism per se as I am for is for like equality. I want us both to
hmm
be treated equally. You know, like I understand that they're like our bodies are physically built differently. So
hmm
like there are a couple of things, you know, namely giving birth and stuff like that, that men can't do. And but there are certain things that maybe a woman might not be able to do as well as a man because even our center of
Just do
gravities are
differently.
hmm
different. So it's not that we can't do it, it's just that we'll do it differently. Um, so anyway, so like that's what I like. I like being part of like the more equality. So like when I saw guys and girls and they were doing the same test, I was like, yeah, let's go. Like
I one of my favorite scenes of that entire game is when you first go into the camp, when Ross leaves you and he's like going to the camp, and the guy you rescued very early on goes, you're here, hold on, I have something for you," and
yeah.
she's like, "Please don't bother me," and he's like, you can't go out into the proving like that," and she's like, "Excuse you?" He's like, "Where are these? I made them for you. I was waiting for you to get here," and it was one of those moments where I was like, that could have gone so wrong. But at the end of it, he goes, I'm not the warrior that you are. So I have been so excited for when I saw you. That way I could give you something to like make you like just give you like all the tools you need for success. It's one of my favorite sequences, and I thought it showed, hey, you can have guys be creative and you can have a strong female character and they can mesh very well. um,
Yeah.
I loved that entire sequence. I sent you guys two other things because we went from the thrown in your face type of thing. I sent you images. One is Corvo, and the other one is Lady Emily.
Is that
Um,
the third and fourth link down or the
the third and fourth link down. Yeah, skip
okay?
the long one. I'm sorry. So
The
these two
long
are
one.
from the Dishonored franchise. Dishonored, quick breakdown for you, is kind of a stealth action first
Oh.
person game set in a steampunk esque Victorian era England. Steampunk, of course,
Mhm.
where you play the first game you play Corvo, who is the Queen's guard who gets framed for assassinating the Queen, and you have to rescue her daughter Emily and kind of restore her back to the throne, clear your name, cliche, 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 right?
Mhm.
Right, right. Wait,
Got a
okay.
thing.
The second
I'm missing.
game,
Wait. Where are these people?
did you click the two links?
No,
The
I
two
don't. I
bottom
don't.
links
They're the
I
links in the
in
comment
the chat.
box on Zencaster.
uh oh.
Um,
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, she looks cool.
Oh,
so,
damn.
I love these, and if you actually look on hers and one of the center ones, you get to see like a more artist rendition of it.
Mhm.
Now, um, in the first game, you play as Corvo, and you actually rescue Emily. However, Emily is like, um, she's like 6, 7 years old, maybe 9. Like she's a
She's a
kid.
kid.
Um, and then in the second game, you are her loyal protector, and you're also it leads you to believe that you are the father, but I don't think it ever comes out and says it
Aw.
because she never calls you dad. She always calls you Corvo. However, people know that you kind of may have had an affair with the queen. Um,
Mm.
so in the second game, her her aunt comes in. What?
Sorry. Continue.
In the second game, her aunt comes in and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm the aunt that was cast aside because our father had a tryst with a maid, but I have more rights to the throne than you do, and she has magic powers that you kind of had in the first game. Now, in the beginning of the second game, you get frozen in. You see the two main characters get frozen in rock, and based on whatever happens, you guys can use like your magic, but you can choose to play Corvo again, the main character from the first game, or you can play as Emily. They both have slightly different powers because they give you all of his powers from the first game with a
Wait, you get
tweak
to
here or
play as the
there.
kid. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
She's an
Sorry.
adult. She's an adult now. There's some tweaks here or there, or you can play as Emily. Emily has a new set of powers because she's not the same person, and the people who get these powers use them a little bit differently. Think of kind of a night angel with the talents,
Mm-hmm.
and not everyone has like the same talent. They kind of have different quirks. Now, the game does react differently if you play because she is also an established character. We already know who she is, versus Corvo, and Corvo is also an established character. So they will address you like, hey, that's the queen. Like, we need to capture her and do this. Or they're like, oh, no, it's Corvo, it's Death because you played the first game. Do you
Hmm.
think that that gives it a little bit more credence with doing two characters rather than saying, okay, here's the same character, you can play as a male version, female version, but nothing else is different. Like it changes the story a little bit, but it's not. I don't know. I have a huge problem with the like having a male version and a female version. It's the same character. I find it so lazy. I'm like, why can you not just be like, hey, here's an awesome female character, go.
I mean, it feels. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it just depends on how they tweak the story. Is
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
how tastefully they do it. That's my only thing. Is like yes, it would be lazy to keep it the same story or whatever, but at the same time, again, like I also kind of like that because it feels like you're not being treated any differently versus because of your gender. That is refreshing.
That's that's a very nuanced point. Like I don't want to be
Okay.
treated differently because I'm a woman. But if it was like, hey, no, I'm as opposed to being death incarnate, I am of like royal descent in line for the throne. Like you're going to treat those people differently. They're two separate characters, and you can choose
Yeah.
which character you want. They have their own separate backstory, as opposed to you're just picking a gender. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yes.
That makes sense, and they do. Maybe we'll go through those games because they're really good. We'll do that for a future Let's Play. Um, but and that's what I liked here. We're getting down to that like 20-minute mark. So now we've talked enough about. Well, we haven't talked enough. We could have entire like hour
God, we could talk
conversation.
for days about this.
Mhm.
But I do want to go on to the next one, and we're gonna go back to kind of character design, but we're gonna go to character outfits, which I know is
A bone
where
of contention for myself.
from Mrs.
Sorry.
Playa, she said yes. No, you're fine. So I did put a few in there. I did Ivy from Soul Calibur because, as Mrs. Play will tell you, that is like her least favorite design.
It is. I hate it so
Uh,
much.
However, I also wanted to talk to you about because the bottom middle, I love the design of her in the pirate outfit or the like sea captain outfit.
Yeah.
Um, I love that, and I also love her like one gauntleted arm because I'm a huge fan of like asymmetry like that.
Hmm.
Uh,
She's like nearly nude.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, the Soul Calibur 2 when she got like shown off, the game had bounce physics as we
Of
like to
course
call
it
them.
did.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Uh, I also put in
No, how old is this game? I take back what I said about hypersexualization.
hold on.
This
If
is
we're
not a good
talk
thing.
Okay. I will look up on Soul Calibur 2. I also did the Ladies of Dead or Alive. I'm
Like,
pretty
if
sure
she
you've
comes
heard.
down the steps too fast, her boobs are gonna pop out.
Um,
Seriously.
I could have picked up a picture of Taki, which makes even less sense. Um, I did the Ladies of Dead or Alive because Mrs. Play probably might not know this one as much. Liz being a little bit more in the gaming realm. Have you heard of Dead or Alive or Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball?
I think I have actually. But
Want to
sorry,
bounce back a bit.
refresh my memory. Like,
Dead or Alive is a fighting game that came out where you competed in the Dead or Alive tournament, and you got like whatever wish that you wanted. Um, in one of the games, I think it's in Dead or Alive 2, canonically they make Zack win. And what he does is he's like, I want an island in the South Pacific where I can have the greatest resort of all times because he is like a party playboy. And he invites all of the Dead or Alive female characters to his island to play beach volleyball. However, you give them gifts. It's kind of like a dating sim. You play like spring break games, and all of the girls can consistently find less and less things to call as bathing suits. Um,
Mm,
and that's what that toad right there is exactly why I didn't like. Let's look for these.
uh,
Um,
yeah, I would have been bitching the entire time.
absolutely.
Like, okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna feel a little bit better, but like not really. Um, if it if a desired identity is sacrificed for the sake of would I fuck it? Is it attractive? At the bare minimum, is she cute? Because I don't want to be intimidated. Um, those characters aren't human, and they're not. I don't find them interesting. These are facts. It's not interesting.
Hmm.
If we were making objects, like everyone wants a pretty object. We're shiny baseline creatures, basal at the level. Like we like pretty things, but female characters are not objects. You can hear like the crazy in my voice a little bit, like not an object. So
Yes.
when those stories, like when interesting stories, when interesting characters are relegated to, like, but is she approachable? Are her boobs big enough? Is she showing? Is she not showing enough skin? Um, purely for sales purposes, like you're doing a tremendous disservice to your fan base who is female and wants to see characters that look like themselves, and not caricatures but characters who are as interesting and complex and who aren't always pretty, might be overweight, might have different pronouns, different gender identities, might have different sexual preferences, might not be able to pick up a sword with one hand that's 12 feet long and miraculously fling it around. Like, okay, I understand fantasy and that's cool, but like not even Victoria's Secret models don't look like that all the time. And when you're wearing these like clothes that are purely for like she did that crazy flip, and then of course we get to like see those legs splayed in such a fashion as she completes her cartwheel with just a little bit of fabric covering her vagina. And I'm like, why did we do that? That wasn't necessary. Like you did it for the gays, you did it for the money.
Panty shot.
Yeah, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
It disgusts me. It does nothing for me. There's no male equivalent. Like, are we going to stop and like the guy with the shirt off and just all like admire that for a minute? Sure, we might, but it's in jest. It's not.
oh,
It's not for
God
the
damn it, you said that.
sexualization.
Damn it that you said that. I was like, actually, hold on.
Yeah, I know.
I
That's
have
why.
that.
That's why. and and those are my thoughts. Liz, your turn.
I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment of just like you can't like men and women are both human beings. You can't can't treat one as an object and not the other. Like you can't. It doesn't make sense. But for
One's
some
a
reason,
commodity.
yeah, it's just so like there are. But it's funny because sometimes like I've only experienced this like in anime, not so much in video games. But like I mean, there is some in video games where where like most of the male characters are hot guys. Like they're hot. They're very fit and stuff like that, and like but they still have personalities for the most part. Most of them are quite disgusting and ugh. But like more of you're more likely to get a personality with the hot looks than you are with a female character who just happens, who's just hot. Like that's her thing. That's all she is. She's an object, like like Nicole said. So yeah, it just God, it just really really ticks me off. Just the whole category. But like, you know, slowly but surely making progress on it. I did click on a link from Forbes that was talking about the new Assassin's Creed. They're just like Ubisoft is trying to bridge the gender gap with this new thing, and I'm just like,
No, they're not.
but they're not.
The rape allegations
They
and
are in
sexual
a way
harassment.
that still turns a profit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Hey, look, we're not all sexual harassing huge perverts that are committing sex crimes. That's a subject for another
Wow.
day. I did post the link for DOA Extreme Beach Volleyball. It's just the Google search page.
You just want to make
So
me angry, don't you?
you can look at that for about 30 seconds. And then I
They're
was gonna
all
go.
white. They're
They're all Asian.
They are
Let's-
the palest Asians with blonde hair because one has white, one has purple.
Do they have blue eyes? Because then they're
One,
not
two,
Asian.
I can't tell.
No, most of them. They're
One,
okay. I'm sorry,
two,
Christina's not.
3, 4 are blonde.
That's because blondes. That's a thing for Christy's not. That's a thing for another. That's a thing for another day. But that is just to let you know. This is Extreme Beach Volleyball. This is what Dead or Alive was like.
Is
made
the
for.
American the one in the cowboy hat with the bikini with the stars and stripes?
Oh, she is okay. I'm sorry. There might be.
I said what I said.
There's a French one too. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I also sent another one here because I figured we're going to end this. We're going to talk about some more fun designs. I posted a picture of Lulu from Final Fantasy X.
Yes. Okay. Can we
And
talk about Lulu, please?
we can talk about Lulu.
Oh my god. Because like here's the thing. So like, Nicole, have you ever? Are you looking at the image of Lulu like with like
I'm
her with
trying
her
to find it. I see Final Fantasy. This
10
is
2 probably with Yuna and Riku and Pain, which oh god, that's a whole
This
nother.
is in the chat. This is in the chat. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Is that what this bottom one is?
Yep.
Thank you. Which one's which? Lulu.
Lulu's the one with the belt. Like the belt's
The belt
like
dress?
making up the yeah.
What the F? Okay.
I know, right? Like here's the
Continue.
thing though, is that when
So drafty.
Kevin and I recently replayed this, and they mostly use Riku and she's 15. She is 15
Hashtag
in the game.
Underage. Hashtag pedophiles.
Right.
That had only become illegal in Japan in the past 5 years, I believe.
I said what I said.
Oh no, yeah. So anyway, so like in Final Fantasy X, like they have a lot of images of Riku where you're just looking at her ass just constantly. And then with Lulu, she was the boobs. But like not as much. But like Lulu is actually of legal age. So like even though it's awful, you're just like they kind of have one small window to redeem themselves and be like, look, let's just focus on like, yeah, she's hot, she's mostly covered, she's got the boobs or whatever, and she's also like a really 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 powerful sorceress. Like, well, I mean, at least you can make her that way. Like you can make her like super super strong, and it's awesome, and she does like a really good job. She's also like the big sister kind of thing.
Oni-chan.
So and actually it's One-san. Is big sister. Anyway, so like yeah, she's got like a lot going for her. But then they're like, nope, 15-year-old girl. This is what we're focusing on for our sexual content. It's like, really? Really?
Stop sexualizing young girls.
Yes, they're like, oh god. So like yeah, but like there was one camera scene where like Lulu's talking and like the camera's only looking at her boobs and it's kind of like
Yeah.
swaying or whatever. So it's like, are we getting drunk on her boobs? Like what is going
I
on?
mean, my blood flow went somewhere else. Don't know about you.
So yeah, that just oh
I
my
hate
god.
this
I
so
wanted
much.
as soon as I
Okay.
saw that you had a link to Final Fantasy X too, I was like, "Oh my god, wait, we gotta talk about Lulu." Like how she could have been like, she could have been like your one to like sexualize or whatever. Like not again, not that it's a good thing or anything like that, but of the two evils, she was the better option, and you decided to go with child pornography. It's just like,
I well, you're also like dead at 25 in Japan. Um
What?
literally your life is considered over the fun exciting parts. At like 25 you were considered an old lady, um per
That's
culture.
fine. Bye.
um Actually, I wanted to comment because Lulu's skirt made of belts, I think it's a really cool design. Like it's just it's so interesting and different. It's not like she's wearing it. It's like, are those belts? Like, did you just like connect? Like that's I'm like, oh, that's actually
Yeah, it's a
really
fucking trip
really.
hazard.
I agree.
I'm not playing this for practical. I just think it looks cool.
I liked her belt design, honestly. Like I one of the people I liked her design. I did. I thought it was really cool looking. Like with the fur, like around the edge, like and like with the bell sleeves, it was very dark sorceress. I liked it. And like it doesn't reveal actually all that much. Like you do see her cleavage, yes, but like she's
Yeah.
not as scantily clad as Riku is.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and
No, like yeah, she looks
She looks
regal
a bit
and
more
appropriate.
yeah, she looks a bit more respectable.
I
I mean,
so we're gonna go there, and after that, I've got two others that I kind of want to touch on here. If you guys go back to the document, we have
Lightning round.
yeah, we're gonna do a bit of a lightning round, and then we're gonna end on Metroid.
Yes.
Um, that way we can get Kevin in there because I know he said we have to do that. I
Yep.
was gonna do Lady and Trish from Devil May Cry 5, and then underneath Bayonetta there is Bayonetta and Jean, and I also wanted to get your opinions on that because sort of
what the
like the um, to which one?
nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Lady and Trish, one, I love Lady's new design. She's the
Which
one in
one's
white
which?
on
Thank you.
Lady's the one in white on the side. She carries around a bazooka called the Catalina Ann, which is named after her mother. It is a multi-purpose bazooka that does everything that you could ever imagine for it. And then Trish is um, made after Dante's mom, and it makes the game really awkward and weird when you see
God.
how he hits on her.
Yeah,
But
me too.
she gets to wield a giant demon sword that is Dante's father, and uh, it's like it sounds weird, but it's a really cool design. And when you play as them in the game, they both feel really powerful. And I am of the opinion that any character design can be made better with a bomber jacket. And like lady standing there, like you see all the magazine clips, you see like that she's wearing like a shirt underneath, and then you throw on the white leather jacket, she's got the weapon holster across the chest, you see the like the motorcycle goggles because she rides a motorcycle, why would she
Yeah.
not? And I absolutely loved that. Like I said, I'm a huge bomber jacket. I think Captain Marvel looks like a cooler character when she puts her bomber jacket
So are
on.
you just trying to justify that you think she's cool, or what's your point?
I don't know, I like the design. I wanted to know what you guys thought of that one.
I like it. It's like it's sexy, but not. I don't know, but it's still again like I like the jacket, I like the gloves, goggles. Like it's very it screams
She's
practicality.
dangerous, but it also kind of I don't know.
I don't like the I don't like her pose. Her pose is very
Her those those aren't pants. I'm pretty sure they're like
They are like thigh highs.
uh
yeah, it's like pantyhose because
Mhm.
you can see some inner
yeah.
thigh.
They look like
That's what that
light.
is.
Oh god, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I'm just
They-
like
they-
that's not
they're
gonna
wearing-
hold. Like I hope she chafes.
It's it's a bit of a bummer because this is the end of 5, and it's a DLC we think was scrapped that was called Ladies Night, where you got to play as these two characters to go fight demons. And in 4 they had a really good DLC sequence. Um,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed that. And then the next one we're going to go to, um, if you guys also have Bayonetta pulled up, which is Bayonetta is the one in black, Jean is the one in red. A little bit of a history here. This is made by Platinum Games.
Jean looks
Mrs.
weird.
Blade. These are both witches. Um, they are called bullet witches. They use the weapons to channel their energy, and they get crazy and cooler ones. Um, and the character of Bayonetta was designed by the people who did Amaterasu, and she is one of the lead, I think it's the lead character designer. I can't remember his name. Uh, like his ideal woman, he is a huge fan of strong, independent, powerful women, and he thinks glasses make everyone look better. But I wasn't sure
I
what you
like her.
guys. What about you, Mrs. Play? I know it's still
What
skin
do
tight.
you
It's a bit
like
of a catch
about
feed.
her, Liz? Which
Okay.
one do you like, and what do you like about them?
You sound a little judgmental.
No, not towards you, but tell me what you think. Tell me what you think and why. Maybe I'll change my opinion.
Well, I like the fact that she is, like, for starters, fully clothed. Again, the bar is so fucking low. I
Is
like the
she
fact that
wearing
she's fully
clothes?
clothed. I don't know. I think the leather's like pretty badass. It makes me think of like superheroines, kind of stuff, like how they
Mm-hmm.
wear like leather and stuff like that. I like her chest is a bit smaller. Well, I mean, at least in this version it is. I'm looking
Mhm.
at other images and she is
It
also
was
rather
toned down.
she is rather well endowed. But like I like the gun part of it. I like the short like the hair.
The shorter
Um
hair is refreshing.
Pixie
yeah,
cut
I
is
like
so
the
nice.
shorter hair. Like it looks really good. I don't know, just like she just kind of looks like someone who just doesn't deal with people's bullshit. She's like, okay, out of my way now.
She's gonna
Just
stomp on you in her stilettos as she walks away.
pretty. Yeah,
Yes.
her gun stilettos.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know. I kind of like that. Again, like the pose is very objectifying, which is disappointing. Like if she was just kind of standing there, like or maybe doing just like the T pose or whatever, um, like my opinion might be a bit higher, but as it stands, she is doing the what is called the back breaking pose, which is very common where they try to show the boobs and the ass all in the same thing. And if women actually had to stand like that for any given period of time, it is very, very painful.
Mm-hmm.
No joke. I did not know that was an actual pose, but I appreciate you for letting me know.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
common in the digital art franchise. A lot of artists are kind of up in arms about it. Some people are like, it's my right, it's my art, I get to express it however I want. And other people are just like, don't make it unrealistic. Women can't actually bend like that.
Mm-hmm.
um,
I like that she could step outside and not freeze to death. That's cool.
Yeah, again, she's clothed, but
Um,
the bar is so low.
yeah, I'm like honestly, I struggle with that one because like the own internalized values, but it's you can be scantily clad and also not be a sexual object
Yeah.
exclusively, and just because you're wearing your bikini doesn't make you lesser than. It's just that type is the only thing that we see. And so I'm like, oh, thank God, this one's wearing clothes. It's refreshing. And I shouldn't have to like exhale like that in exasperation. Like we still went like with the tight leather cat suit because we have to. Um, I do like the pixie cut. Glasses do make people look hotter, so I'm here for that. I wear glasses. No, has nothing to do with that. The gun shoes are cool. Like you, very few people can. Like I know it's not always about practicality, but I am grounded more so in logic and practicality. I am a function person, less on form, more on function. And like the shoes are cool. I could not walk where we live in those. I am not a graceful creature. I know there are women who can stomp around in heels and like sprint on cobblestone with them because they saw it in a Catwoman movie and they're like, I want to grow up and be like Catwoman. And so they did. Um, and like the entire motivation is like Catwoman can run in high heels. I'm going to do that too. And like now they are proficient. That has never been my desire, and I am not that graceful.
Actually,
Um,
they do that in the LGBTQ Pride.
mhm.
It's like a it's in Amsterdam. It's a Pride fest, and one of the competitions is a heel run, where they have
Dope.
where the men run in stilettos.
Good. Good.
And, like, they're amazing. I've seen videos of it where they're running, and oh my god, it's
Like, believe
impressive.
achieve. You don't have to rely on the heel if you're just on the balls of your feet. Lean forward. But no, like that's cool. I like the black and the blue together that juxtaposes nicely. I like her design with what's her other face?
Jean.
Jean Jean's in a weird outfit that she looks like a hot Austin Powers.
This is their outfits from 2.
She's like a
And
pretty Austin Powers.
we're gonna skip on it because this is her second outfit. A lot of us like Bayonetta with the pixie cut. Like personally, just it makes more sense.
What's
The
going on with
first,
her gun? She has like these absurd that's not even a peacock feather. What is that?
it's
What's happening?
okay.
It's like a Dr. Seuss thing. That's what that is.
I am now going to ruin the character designs for you.
You
The
haven't
character-
already?
No, the characters are witches.
Yeah,
So they use magic.
right.
The length of their hair is how strong they are with their magic.
Okay.
Their hair is what makes up their clothes. So when they like summon their demon fists and they like throw the punch out or they punch the ground, you watch the clothes go away on the arm, and then you watch the magic demon fist come through the portal. So there are points in the game where you get super awesome things and you summon some crazy shit, like you kick a giant boss into a guillotine and your character does a sexy dance, and you kind of watch the clothing go away, and then you watch the guillotine come down on his head, and she's like poised in such a way that you're like, oh.
I'd
And
be
then when it
dressing like a
ends,
fucking Eskimo.
huh?
I would be dressing like a fucking Eskimo. That's how you know that they're super strong. Like, I have the clothing to burn.
But the first game, because back in the day it was harder to model individual hair strands, so that's why a lot of times you see characters with like the ponytail that doesn't move in the back of their head, because
Yeah.
it's hard to get that wave in there without crashing the system. We're coming up to that hour mark. So last but not least, why don't we talk about Samus Aran? We'll do that
I
for the final
request a
moment.
bathroom break. I drank too much coffee.
Okay, go ahead.
Be right back.
Her white mage one is so cute with the hood. It's adorable.
I like hoods. Hoods are also like 10 out of 10 character designs. Like, I love hoods.
Yeah.
Okay. What else are we looking at?
I was looking at Yuna from Final Fantasy X too. She has a wide variety of outfits. And that's kind of actually part of the game, is depending on what outfit you wear is what kind of character you are, like, or what type of power you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
Just so we can go ahead and wrap up, though, that way we're not running too far over for you guys. Why don't we go ahead and let's take a look at Samus real quick, and we'll spend the last bit of our time on that.
Both Link's Prime
Links.
Armor Zero Suit. Okay.
So, brief history of Metroid is you played through the game as this masked, power armored character. You got powers, but you were this orange character with this red head. If you 100%ed the first game, it showed you a picture of Samus without her armor on. However, it was always inferred that it was a guy. Now, the original, like, to show that it was a female, because we're talking Mario, like Mario World level graphics, super pixel, was she had what looked like a bikini on and long hair, because you had to show a difference between skin, hair, and clothing to be like, oh wow, we're playing as a woman, because this came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And then I think it was in Metroid Prime Fusion, there was, it might have been in Metroid Prime Other M, there was the introduction of the Zero Suit, which is, as you can see, the cat suit that she wears, theoretically underneath of her armor. And I wasn't sure what you guys thought of that. If you actually go down to the history at the bottom, it shows you her original, like one of her original designs, on the first link, where it's in her armor. If you scroll down a little bit, you see a picture of like what you saw if you beat the game completely. And I think this is part of the remake.
Little pixel thing of like pink and white and hair.
Yeah, and that's but when you're trying to like show that back then, you have to do something to be like, okay, this is obviously female.
Yeah.
And that was a huge thing. I know Mrs. Play, you can sometimes be kind of hit or miss on catsuits. But what do you guys think of this in the idea of, well, she has to fit in this armor?
I mean, I don't mind the catsuit underneath the armor, whatever. Like, what would be really badass? Oh wait, sorry, I took Nicole's spot. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nicole.
That's not why I snorted. I don't mind the cat suit. I hate the footwear.
Oh yes.
Because I'm toggling back and forth between these two tabs I have up, and Samus Aran in armor is where the footwear is flat. And when I look over at this, she's rocking some like at least 4 or 5 inch heels, and it bothers the piss out of me. There is one photo, maybe 2, where she's in like sensible footwear, again, I can clearly run in this, but the rest of the time she's in like crazy superhero pose with her fucking stilettos, and it.
So the stilettos in game,
Also, her boobs are several different sizes.
Yeah.
they do change depending on who's drawing her.
Wait.
Um,
Oh my god! There's one picture where they're ginormous.
Yeah, that one's porn.
Yeah, it's porn.
Okay. So
Chris is like choosing all the things not to say. This woman has a bubble butt in this photo. She's doing that Black Widow pose where we see her ass. It's America's ass. It's that pose. Chris regrets doing this. Her thighs in this one.
Oh god, yeah, I'm looking at the bubble butt one. I'm sorry. It's just ridiculous.
With 2 C's.
What's what?
Thick is
with 2 C's.
Yes.
2 C's.
But like, what would be awesome though? Okay, so the only way that this catsuit would, I think, be acceptable is if she was in the midst of, like, say her top half of her armor and her bottom half of her armor were different. Like, say they say she was like taking a break from training or whatever, you know, she maybe had her helmet off, the large shoulder pads off, and like maybe her arms and her legs and stuff, like all of the badassery would still mostly be there. But then like she could just like wear the top, because again, like that's practically what you would wear underneath it. So it has a purpose other than just showing off her body. Like that's where I think the rub is that like women can wear scantily clad stuff like if they want to, if they so choose, because like that's their choice. But like in video games, like if you're trying to sell a character and like all you can do is look at her before you can even know what she's like you gotta show some practicality for like there has to be a reason why she's wearing what, I don't know, maybe
other than just to be pretty. Yeah.
Just it feels kind of wrong for me to say that, because like again, some women dress that way because that's what makes them feel pretty. So like it's kind of hard for me to
Yeah, but they're still a fully functioning human being, as opposed to just a video game character, which is just a caricature of art, which is just an imitation of life.
That's true.
And we're still objectifying women.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. So like if you kept some of her badass armor and showed like the suit or whatever, I would be totally okay with that. You know, if she happened to have like really big boobs and stuff like that while she was like in her cat suit or whatever, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, but like leave some of the badassery there and get rid of the freaking heels. Like that's so dumb.
Like someone's going to listen to this and just be like, Nicole obviously has small boobs, and that's why she's just hating on all the big boobs. I do have small boobs. I'm not hating on the big boobs. Back pain. I don't want it. Extra money for bras. Don't want it.
Oh, God, you're telling me.
But it's just, I don't know. I'm like, why can't you just be a fully developed character?
Yeah. Funny how you say developed.
Liz.
Interesting choice of words.
Liz.
What?
I love you.
Chris is just... we're gonna end this one, winners. I've been silent over here for like for the last couple moments here. you guys have any final thoughts? Do you have any like characters that you're really looking forward to coming out before we go ahead and wrap this?
Stop treating women like objects.
Okay. Do you have any characters that you're looking forward to
Oh
coming
boy.
out?
Next game.
There are not many to choose from, Chris.
Okay. Oh, okay. Um,
Aloy, you must lead us.
so
Guerrilla Games, we're looking at you.
we're all just gonna let that one go there.
Aloy Forbidden Wilds. Wilderness. Wilds?
The Wild West.
That's not what it's called.
Oh, it's Forbidden West.
Yeah, okay.
Frozen Wilds is the DLC.
Okay, yeah. Forbidden
All
West.
right. And before we go ahead and send off and log off over here, Liz,
So much hate
you have a fantastic thing that just happened. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. Oh my god. So I just relaunched my comic, which is about magical girls. Well, it's like magical children. There are boys and girls, and everybody in between. It just launched on Webtoons, and it's also on Tapas. They're all free to download, free to read. So if you look under Magical Girl Kia, spelled Keeya, you can start, and it's fantasy-esque. A lot of dark-skinned people. Just great people all around. I'm so excited about it. I worked so hard on this, and it's just like elevator pitch. Shoot.
Ready, set,
Just
go.
yeah, if you like magical girl genre as a whole, it's not as dark as Madoka Magica, but it's not as light and fluffy as Sailor Moon. It's kind of in between. It's got it's got dark elves. It's got just multi-dimensional type people. And I've worked really hard on the story and the writing and stuff, and I think it's pretty good.
Everyone should go check it out.
Yes, please go check it out. And then hopefully get some traction on it, because this is what I want to do for my job. I would love to be a character designer, webcomic artist, so any traction I can gain on that would be awesome.
Cool. Well, you heard it, guys. Go support.
And then, as always, you can find us here. This will, of course, be available on iTunes, Spotify, as well as YouTube and Podkite. We are working on getting it other platforms. You can find us Monday through Friday here on Built to Fail. Fridays and Saturdays have been our stream days, where Mrs. Play and I go through Ghost of Tsushima, or I am going through Yakuza and Kingdoms of Amalur. Monday and Wednesday, you can also find Mr. and Mrs. Play going through currently we are going through Ori and the Blind Forest, and then Gears of War will be going at the next point here. So thank you all so much for joining us. Remember that you're all winners out there. Have a good one, and keep it weird, everybody.
Bye.